Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's bright and early, daily discipline, mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through Sunday. Let's jump into our study group for warriors, for my hardcore heads. Some of you just want to sleep in, go sleep in, who needs you? This is how we get down on Sundays. I do have a couple new subscribers, so welcome to the channel. It's funny how my videos don't really get much views, but I'm steadily gaining subscribers for some reason. Let's jump into this. I'll just go through my notes. I got some Nag Champa incense burning. I got some soft flute music going. We got a lot of noise actually happening in the background right now, and I apologize for that because we have the Rolex 24 race happening at the track. The track's maybe 5 or 8 miles away from me, but we don't have any big buildings here in this small town. We have no hills or mountains, so the sound travels really far, and you probably can't hear it. I can hear it, and I've been hearing it for the last 17 and a half hours. Those cars just humming, just going around the track. There's people camped out there. It's 45 degrees. I don't know why they want to camp out, but they love those cars. Let's just jump into these notes. You hear about the pedophile grooming gangs in London, in England. They probably have them in other places too. It's really terrible, and it's an ongoing story that's happening right now, and I pay attention to the British news. I watch 2C TV on YouTube, and that guy's great. I love his news, and he gives worldwide news, but he does focus a lot on England, and I have a connection to England, so I don't know why I pay attention to the news over there. And these pedophile gangs are really awful, really awful. And there's a big cover-up about it. I don't know why. This is liberalism gone awry. I just can't figure out why anybody would cover this stuff up, wouldn't want to expose it, wouldn't want to get rid of these people. But there's like this weird liberal versus conservative fight over this in England. And somehow it's a problem to stop these gangs. I don't know why it's a problem. Honestly, I don't know why. And what I asked myself when I was watching this one story about it on YouTube, this whole little mini documentary about the whole evolution of this problem, the only thing I could ask myself is, where's the skinheads? Right? Where's the fucking skinheads in England? This grooming gang shit be solved. Boom, lickety split. Where's the Oi boys? Where's the Boots? I don't know what happened to England. Let's move on. What's a bad soldier? Is there any such thing as a bad soldier? Well, there is. There's bad soldiers. And a bad soldier is insubordinate, who doesn't listen, doesn't follow orders. A bad soldier is a coward. So there's 3 different types of bad soldiers. There's insubordination, there's cowardice, and there's nutters. The nutters are the ones that I think are interesting because you kind of assume, yeah, the insubordination, if you're not following rules, man, get the fuck out, you're in trouble. You can't have people like you around. If you're a coward, well, geez, what do you do with cowards? You know, put them in the motor pool, put them in the secretary job. But the nutters, these guys love killing. They can't get enough of it. You give a nutter a gun and he's going to run out into the battle just shooting, wasting ammo. He doesn't know what he's doing, killing women and kids. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just a nut. Can't get enough death. They're terrible. Those are some of the worst. They ruin everything. Here's a question. And it's kind of funny, but I think it's actually a serious question. It's related to Islam. So you know how in the Muslim religion they have this whole notion of 72 virgins, right? And what's the motivation for these little sexually repressed teenage Muslim boys to go and blow themselves up at checkpoints or in buildings or wherever they do it? The motivation is the virgins. They live this horribly repressed life because of their faith and their society. And the religion offers lots of real juicy sex. Man, that sounds enticing. 72 virgins. You tell some nerd who can't get laid and is not even allowed to look at women, that he's going to fuck 72 hotties when he's dead. Oh yeah, he'll go blow himself up real easy, real quick. Let's do it. Let's get it on. Strap that belt on me. But they have female suicide bombers, which is so weird to me. Female ones. And you say, so? What do you mean so? What's the motivation for a female suicide bomber? Is she also getting the 72 virgins, female suicide bombers? Do they get 72 little cabana boys? Little pool boys dressed in little white shorts waiting for them? Does she get 72 little 14-year-olds? What does she get? What's the motivation for a chick suicide bomber? How do they convince that dumb bitch to blow herself up? Let's go to the next one. The left, progressive left, are suffering from what Gad Saad, I don't know if you're familiar with him, he's a professor, he's a Canadian, he's also a Lebanese Jew. You don't see a lot of Lebanese Jews. Where's your Jews, Lebanon? Where's your Jews, Iraq? What happened to all your Jews? You can go to any Muslim country, Jordan. I met one Jew in Jordan. He told me, he's like, I'm the only Jew in the whole country. We live right next to the border, just in case he could hop over back to Israel if he needed to. Where's your Jews, Jordan? The left is involved in this campaign of what they call suicidal empathy. That's what Gad Saad refers to it as, is suicidal empathy. It's an orgiastic empathy. Well, you're so compassionate, at least that's what you tell yourself, that you actually destroy society because of it. Destroy the world because of it. Let's move on. Here's some sport coat rules. You guys like sport coats? I love them. It's an easy way to level up. You want to level up your style, your image, get a sport coat. Your jeans and t-shirt and sneakers, hey, you look like a bum. You throw a sport coat on it, bam. Tech billionaire. You look respectable. Sport coats are great. So if you're wearing a patterned jacket like I'm wearing, you should wear a solid colored shirt. If I was wearing a patterned shirt right now, oh, it'd be way too much pattern. So if you're gonna wear a patterned shirt, solid jacket, you know, either or. They have different lengths of sport coats. The long ones look more formal. You can try them on and look yourself. The short ones look more casual. So it's just something to be aware of. If you want to be super formal, wear a longer cut sport coat. If you just want to be casual, go hang out with the boys or whatever, smoke some cigars, play some darts at the bar, you can wear a shorter one. Have both. Don't overdo the accessories. I got a little pocket square, but some guys will have pins and just all kinds of crap loaded up, and bow ties and vests, and they just really are heavy on the accessory and belt buckles. Pick one or two accessories, tons of rings and necklaces. Just be real easy on that shit. I don't mind accessories, but don't go crazy with it. Tight ain't right. Real super tight sport coats, that's a young boy look and it looks stupid. Let's move on. Well, this is fitting to go afterwards. A holy man is never casual. You dress up for church. You dress up for your wedding. You dress up to meet God. The holy man has respect for himself. He dresses up for himself. I heard an interview with Jordan Peterson and his father, who was a teacher. I guess he's still alive. Always dressed up. And Jordan Peterson asked his father one day when he was a kid, why do you always wear a suit? And his father said, I do it out of respect for my students. Isn't that an interesting answer? So a holy man is never casual for many reasons. Out of respect for his fellow man, for his neighbors, for himself, for God. But it's not just about style. A holy man isn't casual about his hunger for the Lord. Some of you go to a table casually. A holy man goes there hungry, like a hungry dog. slams his plate down and says, yeah, I'm hungry. That's not casual. That's very serious. Go watch a dog eat. Does a dog eat casually? Just one little kernel, and maybe with his pinky in the air and a little fork. Looks around a little bit. No, dogs just go nuts on it. The holy man is never casual. Don't go to the Lord's table casually. Go there hungry. Hunger and thirst. A boss knows what they want. A lot of you don't really know what you want. I ask you in our coaching calls, what are your goals? Many of you don't even have any goals. How are we supposed to coach? What am I coaching you towards if you have no goals? And I can't give you a goal. Here's a question. Was the desert better than tyranny? Is your freedom better than slavery? Sounds obvious, but it's not. I know lots of guys that get out of the joint and they can't handle freedom. They want to go back. Maybe they were a shot caller in the joint and they're homeless on the street. They got respect in the prison system by other inmates, maybe even by the guards. They don't get any respect on the street. They're invisible. I've known guys that they get out and they just can't wait to get right back. They would rather be a slave than to be free. It's easier to be a slave than it is to be free. When you think about the story in the Bible, Moses leading his people out of Egypt into the desert. A tiny desert, by the way, that I've been to. 40 years lost in that desert. You had to be an idiot. They did not have GPS. And of course they started to turn and started to think, well, maybe it was better in Egypt. Is this better? Is it better being lost in the desert than to be a slave? And they really had to ponder that. It's really about, could you give up everything in order to have more? And could you go through that kind of suffering, knowing that you have this goal? And the goal is to be better, to have more, to have better, to be a better version of yourself. But in order to get there, you're going to have to go through some hell, some suffering. And can you do it? Or will you just turn back and say, well, I can't do it. I'll never reach my greatness because I can't handle the suffering. Let's move on. What does confidence look like? Sometimes you have to know what something looks like so you can mimic it, so you can copy it. You may not really understand it, but you could still mimic it. You could fake it until you make it. So confidence looks relaxed. Confidence looks comfortable. When you see a confident man, he's relaxed, he's comfortable. Confident looks content. Confidence looks at ease. Confidence looks like it's having fun. Confidence is fun. Confidence is masculinity. So how do you get there? You can mimic these things and fake these things, pretend to be that way, but how do you actually get there? Well, your daily discipline, your mind, body, and soul program. A steady regiment of study to build character so you can have moral righteousness. And to pay attention to your image. Do we have any time? Do one more. You know what makes me feel uncomfortable? And this is just my thing. You don't have to agree with me. Is women preachers. I don't like women preachers. I don't feel that they should preach. I know that sounds extremist, misogynist. Maybe it is, I don't know. This is just me. I'm not saying you have to be this way. And I was thinking about this earlier in the week. Like, what's this all about? And I saw that speech by that lesbian preacher. Oh, she's so ugly. who tried to appeal to Donald Trump in that service, and she started going off on all her little woke politics. I don't like women preachers. I don't think that women should be able to preach. I won't sit in a synagogue. I'll walk right out. I won't sit in a synagogue where there's a female preaching, a female rabbi. To me, there's no such thing as a female rabbi. Not at all, ever. And it's the same with the Catholic Church. It's the same with any church. I won't sit in those pews if there's a chick up there reading from the Bible. You get your ass down there. You don't touch that Bible. You don't read it. You don't preach it. Shut your stupid mouth. That's my opinion. I know it's terrible. I know it's terrible. And maybe I need to work on that. But that's what I think. Food for thought.